What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the No Fun League. Today we are previewing every single matchup from Wild Card Weekend. We have 6 games to talk about. They start today at 4 p.m. Let's get right into it. The first game that we have is Chargers at Texans. The Chargers, at the time that I took notes, were 3-point favorites. The over-under was set at 42.5. Obviously, those things fluctuate. They change. But it should be around there. I think the most interesting thing about this game is that these are two really similar teams, in my opinion. You have quarterbacks that are on the younger side in terms of playoff experience. CJ Stroud is in the second year. This is Justin Herbert's second playoff experience. They lost the first time. They blew a 27-point lead. It got some people... No, it actually didn't get anybody fired. That was a surprising thing. But... So this is still fairly new regimes as well. DeMeco Ryans in the second year, Harbaugh in his first. And I think these are teams that like to do similar things, where they like to run the ball, but they're not as efficient running the ball, or at least they haven't been lately. And they rely a lot on big shots down the field, whether it's to Nico Collins or Ladd McConkey. But I think the most interesting facet of this game is offensive line play. For the Houston on offense, CJ Stroud had the 5th longest time to throw in the league this year. His offensive line is currently hurt. They have not been playing that well recently. The Chargers defense is one of the better defenses in the NFL. Jesse Minter has really revitalized that unit. You have guys like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, who, even if they're up there in age, they're still really good at getting to the passer. Can the line protect CJ Stroud long enough to let him exploit the weak cornerbacks that the Chargers have and get the ball to Nico Collins? Nico Collins has the potential to absolutely eat in this game, because the Chargers don't really have anything special at corner, and Nico Collins is one of the best receivers in the NFL and was one of the best receivers in the playoffs last season. So I'm really excited to see how that pans out. And for their running game as well, Joe Mixon hasn't gone above 60 yards rushing since week 13. Now, he's missed some time. He's dealt with some injuries. Dameon Pierce has had some really good runs, so they're splitting time. But the Houston attack as a whole has been pretty one-dimensional, with a lot of it relying on CJ Stroud, which has led to the offense not being as impressive as it was last year. On top of that, losing Stephon Diggs, losing Tank Dell has been really rough for this team. Moving on to the Chargers offense, once again, how healthy is this offensive line? They had to reshuffle everything before their last game because of some injuries that happened in pregame warmups. They have 2 of the best tackles in the NFL in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, but how healthy is Slater going to be? Joe Alt, this is his first playoff game. He'll be going up against Will Anderson and Jonathan Grenard, who are Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Jonathan Grenard left the Texans to go to the Vikings, who are 2 of the best edge rushers, probably the best edge rusher duo in the NFL. How are they going to protect Justin Herbert, and how are they going to enhance the running game, which has faltered lately? J.K. Dobbins is coming back from injury, but what is the rest of the run game going to look like? And more importantly, for a team that does like to pass the ball, the Houston Texans have Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley, 2 very good cornerbacks. The Chargers' 2 best receivers are Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey. Now, Ladd McConkey has had a phenomenal rookie season, but Quentin Johnston, we know how unreliable he has been for the Chargers, and everything that has gone into that with drops and everything else. So it's going to be really interesting to see that wide receiver cornerback matchup, and that will probably decide the game. Overall, I think the Chargers win 17-14. I think the under hits and the Chargers cover their -3 spread. And I think J.K. Dobbins scores a touchdown. So if you're into anytime touchdown bets, I would put J.K. Dobbins as your anytime touchdown pick from this game. Like I said, the Chargers got to stick with the run, because eventually the Texans are prone to giving up a big run play. And the Texans got to protect CJ Stroud. I think the Chargers are the slightly better team, and they have more momentum. So I'm picking them for this game. But I think it'll be a really close game, and obviously I think the Texans have all the talent in the world and can win this game as well. Moving on to the Steelers-Ravens game. This game is in Baltimore. It's going to be 33 degrees and cold. It's also the exclusive Amazon game, so you can only watch it on Amazon. The Ravens are 9.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Genuinely really shocked that the spread is this much for a divisional matchup in the playoffs, especially considering it's the AFC North. It's the Ravens and the Steelers, Tomlin and Harbaugh. The losing team has generally covered in this rivalry with these 2 head coaches. However, and at the start, I was thinking, yep, the Steelers definitely cover. There's no way that they get blown out. I don't see it happening. But Derrick Henry, in his 2 games against Pittsburgh this season, averaged almost 6 yards a carry. It was at 5.9 to be exact. The Baltimore Ravens are averaging 30 points per game. They also have one of the best defenses in the NFL in the latter half of the year after they made some personnel changes in Zach Orr's first year. They can pass, run to beat you. This is probably the best team that Lamar Jackson has been on overall talent-wise, and it was one of the best teams that he's been on last year, and then you decide to drop Derrick Henry right into it so they can beat you running or passing the football. No-Zay Flowers is huge for the Baltimore offense, I think, and it does hurt them, and I think, obviously, like, Pittsburgh needed something like this to even have a shot of winning this game. But I think guys like Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, and obviously Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely can step up. I also don't know how much Lamar needs to throw the ball in this game because you have Derrick Henry back there who has been playing phenomenal football. And if not for, Saquon Barkley absolutely going off, it would be one of the best running back seasons ever, and we would talk about it more. But Saquon Barkley had one of the 10 best running back seasons ever, so we got to talk about that a little bit more. The only thing with the Ravens on offense is Roger Rosengarten is your rookie right tackle. He's going to have to deal with TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith every single snap. And obviously, you can use your tight ends to chip, use the running backs to chip. There's a multitude of things that you can do. But Roger Rosengarten is going to have to hold his own against one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. And I think if anything has the potential to ruin the Ravens' night today, it's that matchup and that instance where TJ Watt just takes over the game and wrecks it, because it's very much possible. For Pittsburgh on offense, you're going to need to hit your shot plays to George Pickens. George Pickens is going to have to show up. George Pickens is going to have to keep his emotions in check. George Pickens is just going to have to not be a nuisance or distraction, not to sound like an old man, but you can't do the stupid shit that you've been doing all season right now. Like, your team needs you to win. Can their offensive line protect Russell Wilson and just in general give him the time to hit the shot plays to move the ball down the field? And can their running game stay consistent against, like I said, a really good defense, and a defense that's going to key in against the run most likely to make Russell Wilson win this football game? Overall, I think Baltimore wins 35-21. Like I said, it is kind of shocking to see the Steelers not covering against a team like Baltimore. But I think Baltimore covers. I think the over hits. Anytime touchdown pick for this game is legitimately so easy. Derrick Henry's going to run a touchdown through. Almost guaranteed. Now that I said that's probably not going to happen, but you know what I mean. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a great game tonight. Moving on to tomorrow's games, Denver at Buffalo, where the game time temperature is predicted to be 21 degrees Fahrenheit, which is disgusting. Thank God it's Denver, who's used to the cold, but still. Denver is 8.5 point underdogs. The over-under is 47.5. And unlike the last game with the big spread, the Ravens-Steelers game, this game, if I'm Buffalo, I'm really mad that Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Miami didn't make it through, and I have to play Denver. Because Denver's probably the best 7-seed possibility that was out there. There's a reason why they made it through, despite the Chiefs, playing Carson Wentz. But once again, the biggest thing in this game that I'm looking at is that Josh Allen took 14 sacks in 17 games, which is unholy. He's basically barely been hit all season. He's taken some shots and stuff, and obviously he runs the football, so it's not like he hasn't been touched. But, relatively speaking, his line has done a great job. He's done a good job. The offense in general has done a really good job. Denver leads the league in sacks. So this is one of those something has to give matchups. Denver's also the second best run defense in terms of rush yards given up per play, and the Buffalo Bills love running the ball under Joe Brady and his offense. If Bo Nix can hit a deep shot to Courtland Sutton or Marvin Mims early, I think that there is a strong possibility that Buffalo has to tighten up, and, it gets scary for them, and it gets scary for Bills fans. I apologize. I want y'all to win so badly, but I think that this is genuinely a very tough matchup, and they can't be overlooking it. The Bills' interior offensive line has to be able to handle the pass rush, has to be able to, protect Josh Allen, get some movement in the run game to let James Cook. The one thing that helps them a lot is that the Broncos linebackers are not great, and using any running back out of the backfield, whether it be Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, and especially James Cook, is going to provide really good matchups for the Bills, and I hope they exploit them. And on top of that, who steps up at receiver for you? Obviously, you have Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, two pretty good tight ends. But between Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, who steps up? Who is going to help you win this game? Because, Josh Allen can't throw and catch the ball. Although he did that one time this season, he cannot consistently do that. And you're going to need to have guys step up and make plays to win this game. And on the other side, for the Broncos offense, can you run the ball against this Bills defense? This Bills defense hasn't been great. It is not as great as the Bills defense of years prior. Sean McDermott is a very experienced defensive coordinator. I'm sure he has some tricks up his sleeve to confuse a rookie quarterback. But Bo Nix is very good at, keeping the chains moving, taking positive plays, not forcing turnovers. You're going to have to get him to make some mistakes. And Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP with the Denver Broncos 10 years ago. This is his playoff revenge game against the team that traded him and the team that drafted him. How is he going to play? Is he going to do what Buffalo paid him to do, which is help them win playoff games? And then the other thing that I think hurts the Bills a lot is they have all the expectations in the world. They are the second seed. They have been knocking the door on Kansas City the last 5 years. Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos are playing with house money. This is their first season with a rookie quarterback. I don't think anybody really thought that, they would make it this far. They would make the playoffs. So they're playing with house money. They can cook up whatever they want, trick play-wise, decision-making-wise. They can go for it as many times as they want and just play loose, play with house money. Given all of that, I do think that the Bills eke it out. I think the Bills cover. They win 30-21. Like I said, though, I would not be surprised if this is the one big upset that we get this weekend. Courtland Sutton, anytime touchdown is my touchdown pick. I don't think the Bills' corners are, besides Christian Benford, I don't think they're great, and I think Bo Nix hits a deep shot to Courtland Sutton at some point in this game. And I think, in general, a 2 or 17 matchup is not something like highly entertaining, but I think this game is going to be a phenomenal watch. And I think it's going to be a tough, gritty football game. What people expect Steelers-Ravens to be, I think Bills-Broncos is going to give us that. Moving on to the afternoon game tomorrow, Packers at Eagles, 32 degrees Fahrenheit in Philadelphia, 4:30 p.m. on Fox. Tom Brady's going to be calling this game, so that'll be interesting, his first playoff game. Although, once again, separate conversation on a tangent, but him being an owner of a football team and also doing this, real weird to me. But the Eagles are 5.5-point favorites, over under 45.5. The two biggest questions are obviously the health of the two quarterbacks, because both of them missed last week with injury. Jordan Love, he's going to play. I don't think he's 100% healthy, and I think that'll have a major impact on this game. And then Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, after time off, the last two instances, hasn't been great. In 2021, he missed Week 18, and then he was playing at Tampa Bay in his first playoff start. He completed 53% of his passes for a touchdown and 2 picks and a loss. In 2022, he missed Week 16 and 17 and came back Week 18. He went 20 for 35, 57% completion, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So I think it's definitely happened in the past where he is rusty coming back, and I think that's one of the only things that can doom this Eagles team in this particular matchup, because I think otherwise they match up really well against the Packers. The Packers' defensive line has been hit or miss with getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and even last time they played, I know it was Week 1, but Jalen Hurts had all the time in the world to throw, and this time it won't be a slippery field in Brazil. Saquon Barkley is obviously the engine that moves this offense. It's no longer Jalen Hurts. The Packers' run defense is like top 10, like they're above average. Can they stop him again and again and again, and more than that, limit the explosive run plays and the explosive plays out of the backfield that Saquon Barkley is going to create? Because that's what's going to decide this game. If they hold Saquon Barkley to like less than 100 yards rushing, they most likely win this football game. I don't think that's possible. And then on the flip side, the Eagles' pass defense is the best pass defense in the league. It's coordinated by one of the best defensive coordinators that we've seen in the last 20 years in the NFL, in Vic Fangio. Packers young receivers, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Ontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, who's going to step up and make a play? I think Tucker Kraft is going to have a really good game because I don't think the Eagles have someone that can full on match up against him in a good fashion. But I think those receivers are going to struggle, and that's going to limit what that offense can do. They'll be able to run the ball, but I think that's going to limit it. And I think this is a game where Matt LaFleur has to show why he's a good NFL head coach and a good offensive play caller by drawing up creative ways to get around the Fangio scheme and move the ball down the field. And then on top of that, can the Packers offensive line protect Jordan Love? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat. The Eagles' defensive line is very, very good. It is loaded. They have guys on guys on guys. Pause. Milton Williams has had a really great year. Can you protect Jordan Love? And then on the flip side, can your defensive line get any pressure on Jalen Hurts and bother him in his first game back from the concussion? And just personally, this is interesting. The two biggest guys that left the Giants last season as a Giants fan, Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, they're playing each other. On the Packers defense, can Xavier McKinney make a game-changing play to win this game? Because he has the potential to. He has done it time and time and time again this season. There's a reason why he was an All-Pro, why he's going to the Pro Bowl. However, I think Philly wins this pretty easily, 35-21. They overhits, they cover the spread. Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, is a mortal lock, in my opinion, in this game. The Packers' run defense perennially chokes in the playoffs, and I think there's a chance that they do it again tomorrow afternoon, give up 200 yards to Saquon or something like that. But I have the Eagles winning this one, going away, unfortunately. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, Commies at Bucks, Pirates versus the Communists in Tampa Bay. So this is probably our warmest game of the slate, 63 degrees Fahrenheit outside in Tampa Bay on NBC Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite, over under 50.5. I think this is going to be the most electric game of this slate. It'll be high scoring. The Washington defense can't stop the run. The Tampa Bay defense struggles with giving up big plays. The Washington offense loves hitting the big play, and the Tampa offense loves running the football. So it's kind of the thing that these defenses are the worst at, the other offense is the best at. And these defenses have not been great this season. These offenses have been really good. I think Tampa Bay is the better team. However, Jaden Daniels is a revelation at the quarterback position, and he has come in clutch time and time and time again. So I think we're going to get a great game. Cliff Kingsbury in the playoffs, when he was at Arizona in important games at college, his offenses have not done great. The one playoff game that he had in Arizona, they lost to the Rams the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl, and the offense did not look really good. So what is his plan to prevent that from happening again? And can their offensive line protect Jaden Daniels? Because while the Bucs defense isn't great, they still have some decent athletes at the defensive line position. Or, Lavonte David's still a great linebacker and stuff like that. Secondary is where they're really lacking. So if the Washington line can protect Jaden, he can get Terry McLaurin the football against subpar cornerbacks, and Terry McLaurin can cook and have his playoff shining moment, which he hasn't had the opportunity to have yet. And then can they get movement and run the football? Because the Bucs defensive line has Vita Vea, who is a massive human being, and can the Commanders' offensive line get movement and run the ball with Brian Robinson? On the flip side, which Baker Mayfield shows up? Are we going to get, slated Baker Mayfield, the one that we've seen for most of the season, putting up MVP level numbers? Or are we going to get pumpkin Baker Mayfield, who forgets how to play football? I'm really excited to see that. They had some playoff success last season. They beat the Eagles. I'm excited to see what his second season in Tampa Bay looks like and how he plays. And probably the thing that I'm most excited for, we get Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans again. Now, if you don't know, if you recently started watching football, anything like that, these two fought each other every single time that they played when they were in the same division. So we get that again on a playoff stage. And not to sound like an old guy, does it become a distraction for any of those teams? I don't think so. I think we're going to get a great game. I think the Bucs win this game 42-38. Like I said, it's going to be high scoring. The over hits, they cover. Bucky Irving anytime touchdown is something that I definitely think will happen. He has been on a roll the last few weeks, and like I said, I think this is going to be the best game of the weekend. Last game to talk about: Vikings at Rams. The most interesting thing in this game is looking at what Aaron Glenn did against the Vikings in Week 18 in that must-win game, and seeing if, and just looking at the data behind it and the reasoning behind it. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites, over under 48. But back to Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn zero blitzed Sam Darnold 14 times. The last time that Sam Darnold had been hit with a zero blitz that much was a Jets-Patriots game in 2019, which is the game where he said, "I'm seeing ghosts." It's that game. That's only 2 times that Sam Darnold has seen zero blitz that much. And it's worked both times. He's looked shell-shocked. And this is improved Sam Darnold. So I think a lot of us were like, oh shit, what happened? Why did he turn back to Jets Sam Darnold again? But the question is, can the Rams match it? The Rams' defensive personnel kind of leaves a lot to be desired, especially in the secondary. The defensive line is young and really good. So they're used to just getting pressure with 4 guys. But if they do embrace the zero blitz strategy, if they look at it, they use it, maybe they don't do it 14 times, but they use it in the moments that matter most, I think they can really fluster Sam Darnold and win this football game if they have the guts to do it. And if they're willing to deal with the repercussions of leaving Justin Jefferson on an island with someone, which I know is not the easiest thing to do in the world, but this strategy has worked against Sam Darnold in the past. Like I said, pressure Sam Darnold, use specific things, and, it can work really, really well for you. For, like I said, Rams' young corners, you're going to be against Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. You're going to have to play the game of your fucking life to win this football game. And then on the other side, with the Rams offense, the Rams beat the Vikings this season. The Rams and the Lions are the only 2 teams to do so. And last time, I don't think the Vikings were prepared for Puka Nacua to play that game because he was hurt. And he put up 100-something yards and had a phenomenal game. But can the Rams summon vintage Matthew Stafford in the playoffs yet again and just have him throw lasers everywhere, not be confused by whatever Flores throws at him? Or are we going to get Matt Stafford that forgets how to play football occasionally and throws the dumbest pick six that you've ever seen in your entire life? I don't know. I think McVay versus Flores is a really intriguing play calling matchup as well. I think the last time that they played each other in the playoffs was the Super Bowl where the Rams offense scored 3 points. So I'm sure McVay will be looking for revenge. Also, Kevin O'Connell is a McVay disciple, so McVay probably knows what philosophies and stuff that he wants. So given all of these things and given the last Vikings performance, I think the Rams upset them and win this game 24-21. The under hits and the Rams cover. Kyren Williams anytime touchdown. And I think this is going to be one of our bigger upsets of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If I nail my predictions, hype me up in the comments, please. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace.